CTAP project was funded by Skoll Foundation and Hilton Foundation. Both the two funders are looking at different and diverse points of the project. One side of the project is looking for health sector accountability, and the other aspect of the project is looking for vaccine hesitancy, vaccine distribution, and in general, vaccine work. So one of the things we did was to look at the first country that received vaccine in Africa, which is Ghana, and look at the least country that have had cases of vaccine acceptance, which is Zimbabwe. And that's what prompted the conversation of choosing these two countries. For Kenya, for Malawi, for Cameroon, for Nigeria and other countries, is we were looking at how do we make the point of vaccine to be an acceptance thing to each and every citizen. When we started, we were looking at simplifying budget, we were looking at simplifying numbers for an everyday citizen. Now we're looking at how can everyday citizen accept vaccine, and how can government make a mobile point of distribution vaccine. When we started with Save One, Save All. Save One, Save All is a point of having to tell each and every body that vaccine is good for you, vaccine save life, and let's all encourage each other to accept vaccine. On the project, we encountered some little bit of challenges in different countries, from language barriers, because we've got English speaking countries as well as French speaking countries. We've encountered issues of government really sabotaging the effort in some other countries. Like in Zimbabwe, one of the major issues is they've got 2 radio stations and 2 TV stations that broadcast across the country. And one of the things we did was to look at how do we get this information to these radio stations without having government coming down on them, because we came with the issue of accountability and what have you. So what we did was to look at community radios, community TV stations. That is one of the major achievements, navigating the challenges. If you go to Cameroon, we've had 2 major issues. The issue is the English-speaking part of Cameroon and the French-speaking part of Cameroon. Insecurity was another challenge in that axis, but we are able to navigate and get some level of things. So in Cameroon, it's very dicey that the Ministry of Health in Cameroon has never entered any form of partnership between a civil society organization and that ministry. But we were able to stop that. We got a partnership with the Ministry of Health in Cameroon. We did all we did in collaboration with that particular ministry. In Malawi, we got a very big achievement because there were a lot of scandals, there were a lot of corruption that were reported, and that got the Minister of Health in the country sacked and sent for further investigation. So one of the things we're trying to do is to have to run a race with the citizen and win the race together. So among the things we've identified were like having to look at organizations that are doing different things across different sectors, across different initiatives. Because one of the things we're looking at is how do we strengthen the health accountability? How do we strengthen the health accountability system? Over time, we've conducted a lot of research in the country as well as Africa general. We have a research that is looking at on health sector accountability, and we were looking at how do we see initiatives that can build up to that conversation. And that's why we started a campaign called Strengthening Health Sector Accountability, inculcating it into the open government partnership in these countries. And for Cameroon and Zimbabwe that has not signed up to the open government partnership, one of the things we did was to form a coalition for us to see how we can get the countries sign up to the open government partnership. For Cameroon, we are really going good to see the country sign up. For Zimbabwe, we're still trying. But another thing we looked at is how do we localize this point of conversation? How do we get the initiative to go down to these people in the rural communities? How do we inculcate CBOs, community-based organization, faith-based organization, and what have you? And that's why we birthed a new project called Localization. And on this localization, we're conducting a research first in 3 pilot countries, that's Nigeria, Senegal, and Kenya, to understand, the gaps, the pathway local initiatives are taking around funding, around initiative, to see how do we tell the donors that we have across the world that these people have the capacity to manage your resources, and they have their initiative have the capacity to get people involved. And so we've started the research. We're looking at conducting the research in these countries as well as the other countries in Africa, so that we will see how we will push ahead with our campaigns and initiative across Africa.